whenever there's like a bit of news on the deteriorating state of the climate, the comments underneath the article seem to be full of like hateful spite, usually to
Mm.
the tune of something like, "Oh yes, I'm sure another tax will fix this." Even Joe Rogan said climate change is just a big money-making scheme, neglecting, of course, the actual money-making scheme that has been going on for the past 80 years, which is the fossil fuel
Mm.
industry. And yet we can all observe pretty much with our naked eyes now, or maybe just those of us who are a bit older, that the normal weather of our childhoods is pretty much irreversibly gone. Every summer seems a bit crazier than the
Yeah.
previous one. How do they say this is the coldest summer of the rest of your lives? A bit
Yeah.
dramatically, but probably they're right. It's just going to go downhill from here if we don't act on it dramatically. But still, it isn't enough to convince a lot of people out there.
Mm.
Why do you think climate denialists exist in 2025, and what's the best way to make them kind of see sense on this issue?
Yeah, I mean, it's taking off my scientist hat and sort of, thinking more kind of like as a person and thinking about some of the stuff I've seen, the experiences I've had talking to these people. It's a lot to do with worldview. It actually gets into, I think, stuff around science communication as well. There is kind of an assumption that if we just show people facts, then you do that enough and it changes people's mind. We assume that people just kind of like, the reason they oppose stuff is because they just don't know. They don't know enough about it. And that's something that we call the information deficit model. It kind of relates to how we think about learning as well, that people are just kind of like empty vessels and you just have to fill them up with facts and they do the right thing. And there's been a lot of research to show that's not really how people work. People have worldviews. They understand and learn things through stories and narratives. And that's a powerful thing. If you have a worldview and a narrative that this, climate change or similar issues doesn't fit into, then no amount of facts being spewed at you by well-meaning science communicators is going to really get in. That's not to say that science communication doesn't need to happen. We do obviously need to be getting facts out there, but we have to understand that people aren't necessarily going to pick them up unless they're somehow made relevant. And that's where people who kind of think about talking about stories and narratives, ways of fitting in with the way that these people have their worldviews. People don't just respond to science. Science is a necessary but insufficient condition for action on climate change. We need to have the science to tell us what the issues are and kind of sketch it out. But it's also to do with people needing a vision of the future, something that's desirable, something that connects to their local small day-to-day struggles with the bigger picture.